Guys, and welcome back to another episode of Going in Blind. So we are not as blind in this episode because the theme is absolutely on point. We are talking about the twins for Final Fantasy IV, which is going to be Fire, Water, Palom, Porom. And yeah, this is going to be a 60 card deck because I just can't figure out what to cut. Honestly, I could cut Fusoya and Seamus, and that's -6. That means 54 cards, and then I can cut 2 on each side, but I don't want to. I don't know what should cut, but I could make it 50. But I'd rather have it as a home for another 60 card deck to fight with this one and, you know, test them out, see what wins, because we do have another 60 card one and not more than those. So if I don't make this one into 60, that one's kind of like a standalone. Which means I have to cut more stuff on that one too, which is harder to cut over there because these two, Fusoya and Seamus, can just go quickly. But over there, it's like a little bit more calculated. It's like either two cards go, and then a third one, and then one random single, or it could be 5 cards and two copies of those 5 go. You know, 10 cards is quite a lot to cut sometimes. But yeah, let's begin. Palom and Porom are twins, and they have almost the same quantity of Palom and Poroms printed. I think someone are a mistake, honestly. I don't think this is Porom. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know much about the game, but I thought this was Porom, not this girly. And so this one is not this one, which every single Porom is. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know the story well enough. I haven't played Final Fantasy IV a whole lot or seen it played. I know much more about the Golbez and Cecil and Kain storylines than Palom and Porom. But yeah, I don't get it why this person called Porom. Maybe it's not true, but it seems kind of like a Luca situation where it's supposed to, or a Lenora situation where these two are characters that are supposed to be backups for the Paloms and Poroms, and there is one more Porom than one Palom because those Paloms are ice or lightning. There's a new lightning one, but the other one was ice, and it came with actually another ice Tella, and they're both in the ice deck for the 50 card Edward. So if you haven't watched that video, check that out too. It's a pretty interesting wonky deck, not gonna lie, it's wonky. This one's way better. So yeah, let's keep going. We got a Porom on 1 forward 1 cost. It says when Porom or any Palom you control is chosen by a summon or an ability, your opponent's an ability of your opponent. Yeah, okay. You may return it to its owner's hand. Okay, so whenever it gets targeted, you can bounce it to get rid of the, I don't know, maybe removal, maybe so whatever hate you get. I think that's going to be detrimental for them, I guess. Yeah. And on the other side here, we have the Palom. That's going to be when it attacks, choose 1 forward an opponent controls, deal it 2,000 damage. Then when it deals damage to an opponent, or when the forward damage by Palom is put from the field into a break zone during the same turn, you may put Palom into the break zone. If you do, search for a Palom and play it. So whichever other Palom, this one is going to search. In the case of Porom, you can put it in the break zone and by tapping it only and paying 2 water, and then search for a Porom and play it into field. So they're both going to be tutors. See how they're very parallel to each other. Then we got these two. We don't have Pictological art for Palom. That's the one that we're missing, that Pictological art. But let's keep going here. It's going to be the Porom first. So when Porom enters the field, is put from the field into the break zone, draw 1 card, then discard 1 card. If the discarded card is category 4, yes, then you also gain a treasure or a crystal. On the Palom side, we have when Palom enters the field, you may pay that treasure she generates. When you do so, choose 1 forward, deal it 8,000 damage. Amazing removal. Then put 1 Palom and 1 card named Porom into the break zone, choose 1 forward, deal 10,000 damage. Okay, so if you got these two, this already did its thing, which is draw, discard, and get you the crystal. This is using the crystal to do the damage, and then another damage by getting rid of those two, because they're honestly very weak cards. So they both work as draw, as removal, and as CP generation. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Let's read the Pictologica standalone Porom. Actually, it's also a 2-cost, and it's an EX burst. When Porom is put from the field into the break zone, choose one summon in your break zone. Add it to your hand. We're not gonna be using that one, so that's actually gonna be fodder for paying any other cost that we might get. Just like Fusoya, by the way. Spoiler alert. But yeah, we'll get to that later. Let's talk about the wonky artwork. Water art. How do I say this? Water art? Watercolor art? Yeah. Watercolor paint. Yes, that's the one. So Porom costs 2, and it says at the end of each of your turn, ooh, they're experience counters. Place 1 EXP counter on each job apprentice. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I thought there'd be more. Hey, that rhymed. So yeah, on each apprentice mage you control. Okay. And then it says for each EXP counter placed on Porom, Porom gains 1,000 power. Then you can choose one forward with cost 5 or less. It loses all abilities until the end of turn. And yeah, if 3 or more EXP counters are placed on Porom, its power becomes 1,000 until the end of turn. You can only use this ability once per turn, but it's an instant. It costs 0. And you don't have to sacrifice or tap or dull or whatever. On the other side, we have the other experience counter Palom, which is going to say at the end of each of your turns, place an EXP counter on each job apprentice you control, apprentice mage. You control for each EXP counter placed on Palom. Same thing. The deal is they get 1,000 damage per counter. And at instant speed, you can choose a forward, deal 2,000 damage. If there are 3 or more EXP counters, it deals 8,000 instead. You can only use this ability once per turn. Okay. So this one lowers the damage, the stats, and this one hurts the stats. So you can either do 1,000 damage if you only got this one, or you can make it 1,000 and then take away 2,000. That's a pretty good deal in my opinion. But yeah, let's keep going. The Porom and Luca, that's kind of the pair that we got here. I'm gonna skip this Porom. Now let's go to the Porom here with the Palom here. When Porom enters the field other than from your hand, choose one forward, cost 5 or less. You may return it to the owner's hand. Okay. Then on the other hand, when it enters the field, instead of bouncing, you deal it 7,000 damage. Okay. So 2 kinds of removal. Very good dynamic going on. Very balanced, but also helping each other out because it's just removal. They don't care whether, oh, if this damage, this gets hurt, or this procs from it. It doesn't really matter. But now we got the Pyroblast, and this is common. Interesting. So Pyroblast, sacrifice a Porom, pitch it from the hand, tap it, dull a card named Palom, choose one forward, deal it 8,000 damage. So this one is doing damage. What? And then this one is dulling and doing 1 point of damage to the opponent for the same thing. Comment, sacrifice Palom, and tap it, and then dull 1 Porom. So they're both going to try to tap each other, but because we have so many Paloms and Poroms, it's not going to hurt each other. It's more likely that maybe I'm going to tap this Palom with this Porom, or I'm going to tap this Porom with this Palom. That's kind of how it's going to work. But yeah, pretty cool cards, pretty interesting. Let's see. After that, I know these are a pair, so I'm guessing these two are a pair too. See, and this is what I meant by this Lenora. This is the one here. And I'm thinking this one here. That's not Porom, but maybe I just don't know enough. Whatever. But yeah, these are gonna be the couple, and these are gonna be the couple. So let's read Porom here first, and then Palom. So we got when Porom enters the battlefield, activate all the forwards you control. Nice. And then a sacrifice effect. Choose one forward you control during this turn, or special, not sacrifice. During this turn, the next damage dealt to it becomes 0 instead. Okay, protection. Over on this side for Palom is going to be, if a forward is dealt damage, the damage increases by 1,000 instead. Okay, and then Meteor, yeah, Meteor is going to be a special for 3 fire and sacrificing a Palom. Choose up to 3 forwards opponent controls. Deal one of them 6,000 damage, one of them 4,000 damage, and the other one is going to be 2,000 damage. Sounds reasonable. It's okay. Let's go to the last pair. We got Porom at 4 cost forward, and it says when Porom enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card among them to your hand, and return the other ones to the bottom in any order. And then you can tap it and pay 1 CP and choose an action ability and cancel its effect. Nice. This is good. Then we got the Palom, which is a 5 cost forward, and it says when Palom enters the field, if you control a card named Porom, draw 1 card. Ooh, this one gets a draw. Nice. And if it enters the battlefield, choose 1 forward, deal it 7,000 damage. It also does the removal and pay 2, dull 1 active forward, choose 1 forward, deal it 1,000 damage. Okay, so whatever we have here that's not dull, we can dull it, and we can keep doing that effect to deal 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. That's an interesting one. Both are really good in my opinion. But yeah, let's now go to the Porom and Luca, or the Luca Lenora, and then this one. Yeah, let's just read this one. So whenever Porom enters the battlefield and discard 1 card, if the discarded card is not Cat 4, draw 1 card. If the discarded is, then draw 2 cards instead of 1, and then discard 1 card. You can also tap it and sacrifice it to choose 1 forward, and the deck's damage dealt is reduced by 2,000. Okay. Over here we have Luca, the card named Palom. You control gains 1,000 power, and you can also sacrifice a Luca and pay fire and tap this one. Dull Rydia. What? We're never gonna use that. Sorry. And choose 1 forward, deal it 10,000 damage. Okay, so this is gonna be a good backup that's gonna stay there the whole time and just give us 1,000. We can't use the other one for this deck. I wish we could though. I wish there was a Rydia we could use, but we can't. So next up we have Lenora and Tella. So for Tella here, we're gonna have a 3 cost backup, Sage. You can tap it and sacrifice it to choose a forward and deal it 7,000 damage. Nice. The other one does the same thing. You can tap it, sacrifice it, choose a forward, deal it 9,000 damage. Nice. And then this guy has recall, so sacrifice, pay 1 mana and 1 CP, sorry, and then tap it, choose a forward, remove the top card from your deck, from your game, deal 4,000 damage for each CP required to play the remove card. Wow, that's good. That's very good. Because you can get rid of anything if you reveal something 3 or 4. That's amazing. And there's the majority is 3 or 4. That's kind of the average. So pretty cool stuff there. Last but not least, we got Lenora. When Lenora enters the battlefield, you may search for a Palom or Porom and add it to your hand. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff right there. And last but not least, we got the Fusoya and the Seamus that are water and fire. Fusoya does nothing. It does nothing. It's literally tribute fodder. And Seamus is gonna be the same thing. Remove the top 7 cards of your deck from the game and choose a forward, deal it 7,000 damage. I don't want to lose 7 cards. I would rather pitch this and pay for Palom and have all the Paloms I can get, so that I can tap them and I can keep doing damage to things that already can get damage from this, because you only have enough 7 cards to do that. I don't know. Then you can remove the top 15 of the deck from the game and choose 1 forward, remove it from the game. You can only use this once per turn. No thank you. So these are literally going to be for pitching them, and that's going to help us play our Paloms and Poroms real early on, or even our backups, so that we can then play as many Paloms and Poroms as we can in the rest of the game. So yeah, even though they look cool, even though they look strong and they say amazing stuff, we're only going to be using them as rituals. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is that a good strategy? I believe it is. I think this deck's solid. And yeah, comment that. Let me know what you think. What would you change, as well as like, share, subscribe, and follow for more. Okay, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.